Hi, everybody. It's time for more Ace Attorney. I forgot how to do this. There we go. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Hi, Malagai. Welcome to team.
Hey, Moga. What's up?
I'm zooming and it's fucking things up. All right, we were starting this, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit the history button so I can remember what we're doing right now.
Something about the balloon exploding.
Right, yeah. That doesn't change the fact that testimony and evidence are contradictory. It doesn't seem like Mr. Luna is lying. There's Josh. Get him up there. There was a sad little German boy. That's exactly the voice you went with. Oh, I see.
But he's not German, Polo guy. You keep saying that. He's Bohemian.
He's Bohemian, and everybody knows that Bohemians sound like small-town country lawyers.
That's something I've heard, yes.
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe?
Senor! I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and the one was missing. But we are talking about the 3 enormous balloons.
That's a fair point.
Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grand and expensive? I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons.
You told Gregson to go to the warehouse and count the balloons, and he got there and counted to 3, and went, well, this was a waste of time, I guess. Surely they could have had someone less important do this job.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gregson does 98% of all the yard's work.
Feels
like,
that way,
I don't see them use anyone for anything but Gregson, and I guess now Ginny by default. Would appear no mistake has been made then.
Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task. That's what I'm saying.
Oh hey, the thing that we said.
What, me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. He said kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bought it and said he'd have to go himself in that case.
Gregson definitely just heard her say that when I'm not gonna deal with this and wandered off to the warehouse, eating chips along the way.
Hold it! Hold it. It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Luna, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky?
Are you an idiota?
Sorry?
Mamma mia, let me go. Have you ever heard Bohemian Rhapsody? The people who wrote that were Bohemian.
Yeah. And they spoke
that
with a
is
thick
like
Southern
asking,
drawl.
why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright, and the balloon flies because it flies. You could just say you don't know, man.
That must
fine.
be Italian for I don't know.
You don't have to just be obtuse about it. There are 2 types of flying balloons. I can't believe I have to do this. Hot air balloons and gas balloons. Air is not a gas, don't at me. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air. Whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air, like the ever-safe hydrogen.
What?
See, and my balloons are filled with magic gas, I believe. They're not, it's hot air. Oh wait, he puts hydrogen in the balloons?
Oh no.
Then why is this hat a hot air balloon?
Oh no.
This doesn't make any sense. At this moment, there's an Italian, German, a Japanese speaker at the court, and a bunch of English speakers. Molo guy.
You nearly forgot.
Hydrogen, lighter than air, but highly explosive. Good lord!
This is, I think, before the Hindenburg, so maybe it's fine still.
I do not permit the smoking of the cigarettes in my balloons. The magic gas does not lack fire. Oh, I see what you're going for, Mulligan. You see, I'm a good person, so I didn't even assume those people would be an Axis. Okay? It didn't even register in my mind because I'm a good person. Curious that you went right there immediately.
I feel like World War II would have been a little bit less bad if these were the three people in charge. A child of
I don't know, that
Man
child kind of
and
sucks.
Ryunosuke.
Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosion, explosion. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day. I am completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof.
Alright, so Mr. Lune had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? Why, don't look at me, I don't know. I can't get a... Sorry, choking to death.
Yeah?
But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt-up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? I don't know why I'm reading these and not pressing them. Hold it.
Yeah, he's kind of chilling.
Just started doing it. I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff up off the ground, me. Always works out way better. Diving in people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was in his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is, though, that cage went crashing into Crystal Tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigation was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Cole, listen to you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon?
Florida's finally disappearing? Thank God. I do not know what you mean by that, though, Mulligan, no.
Well, you ain't got
But
bad,
thank God.
ya? Well, this one, I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her.
Quickly, show her the armband.
Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground in a meeting we had about the investigation. Yeah, there's a big ass, I believe the 3rd largest hurricane on record heading
massive
towards
hurricane?
Florida right now.
Yeah, Milton. Okay, it was that. I had heard about that, actually.
Josh does not live under a rock.
I live right next to a rock, so sometimes, you know, it
Sometimes
depends
the
which way
rock
the news
blocks
is
it.
coming
Yeah.
from. Yeah.
Hold it! Hold it.
But I had heard about Milton, which, you know, that really sucks.
There was
Especially given that Helene, like, just happened.
It was like a week ago, yeah. There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of the covers what were watching the experiment were caught in a blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I hadn't even considered that.
It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect the repercussions.
Dog me swiping all his fish and chips, eh?
All of them? I doubt
Man's
that.
sole pleasure.
None of this matters. That scrap of balloon envelope means nothing.
Hold it!
Ragazzo.
You mean the color is wrong?
Si, signora. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse.
And yet a piece of a green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon.
Couldn't it have just been someone else's balloon?
It could have been somebody else's balloon. It doesn't have to be his balloon.
Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. Who cares? You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question.
Why not?
There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you'll agree.
You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition?
If only we were warned about this. I agree, Mulguy. If only we could have seen inclement weather becoming more and more relevant. How could we do that though? We can't. We're not gods. We can't divine the fates.
Impossible to say.
See, exactamente. As the signor says, it is not from one of my balloons.
Excuse me?
That startled me. Did he say fuck? What?
I don't know.
Clearly, this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Excuse me, small child. Are you good?
Is something wrong, Master Gotts? It's Master Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund Ormstein. It was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it all over Bohemia. Can you at least do this line as a little German boy?
Okay.
Absolutely not.
You can speak as much about the language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh?
Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence? What is this evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you saw.
Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Good gracious!
What? I had not been up in a balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs. Of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon. And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that? Nah, seemed boring. Yeah, one picture. Really? You did take one? But all I wanted was a ride in the balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph? Of course, and then you will see. You will see that I am not lying. That I really did see a green balloon. Nice. Well, the picture's not in color, but it's fine. Bought a book with all the Sherlock Holmes stories at the International Book Fair this Saturday, by the way. Fuck yeah. I want to get one of those collections at some point. Would look good on my shelf, and also I want to read them.
Well, you could read them whenever you wanted. They're online, you know.
That's true.
Now, the only thing stopping you from reading them is yourself.
That's true. That's true. Well, I see you are all too shocked to speak.
Communists.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. Wah! Wah!
The umlauts over the A are nuts. What the fuck?
That is one very bohemian-sounding cry. Wah! Wah!
But very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence.
I would love to see that for more than half a second.
I think some of the very old, like the later ones are not public domain, but like 90% of
A
them
lot of them
are
at
just
this point.
fully exist online because like it's not
Wow.
illegal to do that anymore. Well, there clearly was a balloon there that no one was in, so there's
Yeah.
that.
There's that.
There's Hairbrain
This is the arrow being fired from that crossbow.
from the crossbow. Yeah.
Can't really see if he's on the stage still.
What about the guy in the birdcage?
Oh.
Does zooming in on him
Oh,
help
you
us?
actually can see him in the cage.
Yeah,
How about that?
there he is.
All right. This gives us a lot of information. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred.
Well, if you asking me, this is black and white. The photograph, it changes nothing. I could not give a flying fig.
Lovely language you've picked up.
Fuck you.
As I thought, Mr. Luna's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon, but Mr. Luna vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Alright, I don't think we pressed on the last one.
The only thing I know about Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in terms of his finances is he got scammed out of a lot of money by fake psychics. Well, that's repetitive. By psychics.
Redundant, yeah. He was one of the people that was really into spiritualism.
His friend Harry Houdini was constantly like, bro, these are not real. And he'd be like, no, Harry, they're great.
Another person who was really into spiritualism, Abraham Lincoln. And mostly his wife.
Mostly his wife, yeah, I was gonna say it's more Mary.
Just some fun things I know about spiritualism for some reason. Balloons have red and blue zigzag stripes. I mean, this is impossible to see if this has a zigzag or not, so it's not really relevant. Uppers of the yard reckon there's probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage. Well, okay, we didn't get all the way through this dialogue, so maybe it'll give us something else at the end of it. But the prince took a photograph as proof. Oh, never mind, it's just new dialogue entirely. It's Prince Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund Ormstein. I'm very rich. Look how many gold coins I have.
Your royal blood will not help you here, ragazza. See, it is a balloon, but there's nothing more you can see from this black and white photograph.
I'm just gonna Google something real quick. Trying to find out how mean of a word this old man is calling this child. From Italian. Oh, it just means lad. It sounds much more insulting than that.
Because I'm saying it like it's a slur.
Oh, I see.
Just look on my head. That is a Balthazar Lune balloon, the best in the business.
Let's try not to get overinflated.
Ha.
The point is this. Here we have a clear photographic proof that in the sky above the experimentation stage, there may very well have been a balloon operated by someone other than you, Mr. Lune.
Who was it? I wanted to know. Who was this mongrel with no respect for the boundaries?
I don't know. As I thought, Mr. Luna's testimony is this the same? Okay, yes, it is. All right. No liner. Every balloon I had lied. I believe him there. Do we press here because this balloon clearly doesn't have any passengers? Like, do we present that? That's the only thing I can think.
Wait, we all great, sir. Arthur wouldn't have written those stories if he knew that in the future Japanese game would have been able to use his IP without worrying about his state suing them. Exactly.
Exactly. Yes, okay. Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon. But it can tell us something else. Something crucially important.
What?
It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
My goodness, you're all right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise.
And no way to get them back down.
See, they are for pleasure, for the view, seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers.
Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So, when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon.
I know nothing. Niente. I only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Oh, it's inflating.
Objection!
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition. But were there 99 red balloons? Nine zig? And managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Lune's patch without him realizing. Somehow he missed an entire balloon.
An entire giant-ass balloon that was flying below him.
See, the competition trying to steal my profits. I do not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on stage.
This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Assman was beamed from the stage below. Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks, they didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. Because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly, it has nothing to do with the case.
I think you're being willfully ignorant, Funseeks. It shows at least 3 other things.
But well, it does elude me, I must say.
Put on your glasses, man.
This court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No. No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? Of course there's more.
There's nothing. No, there's nothing more. Nope, there's nothing. I'm sorry to tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue.
What's that?
A vital clue?
Jesus Christ, man.
You're too close to the camera.
Get away from me, dude. I didn't like that at all. That was spooky. That was some fucking spooky shit. We're well past the point of mere possibility.
Fucking Five Nights at Freddy's ass jump scare.
I know. It's time for definitives. So, tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? The cause of the explosion, obviously.
Yeah. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault.
Evidently. Because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying.
I don't. The only thing I can think is that he is trying to protect Hairbrain's, like, experiment or whatever, because there's no fucking way he believes that. He's a much smarter guy.
Oh, hey, Swissy.
Oh, hey,
Hello.
Swissy.
Welcome to the Great Ace
my
Attorney 2.
favorite game.
The
Have
one
you
you
ever played
definitely
this?
played, yeah.
No,
This is Van Zeeks. He's not a vampire.
he's
Not
a freak.
vampire.
He's not a vampire.
Sure looks like one.
He's
No, he's not,
definitely not a vampire. They have never been more. Listen.
Not a vampire.
He's not a vampire. That's the only thing you gotta know about him. What's up, man? Why are you
Not
here?
much.
Go away.
Just popping in, just passing through.
Oh, yeah?
SV has 2 ships passing.
Nope. There he goes. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection. No, that's not what happened.
What?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see, and what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way, that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is, I'm gonna go with the fucking beam of light heading towards it.
No. That could be anything.
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon.
I can tell you his intentions. Rio gets at the end of this section. We can wait. Yeah, we'll wait more. Oh, hey, Swissy in chat.
Twissy and
You don't
Chat,
like the 3D? I don't mind it. I mean, I prefer the 2D. I think.
Yeah, I like the sprites more, I think, but
I just like sprites.
I do like a lot of the models. I don't think they look bad or anything.
They're not bad, but I just think sprites are better.
Yeah.
I think the sprites did more. The models are kind of limiting.
Yeah.
People end up just like fucking moving to the same 3 poses.
Which is, to be fair, what the sprites did also, but you're able to exaggerate more with sprites.
Yeah, I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. You know how rays of light come up from the ground?
Up from the ground. Van Zeeks' leg is really good. Yeah, exactly. Like, there are some really
The
good ones.
leg is good. But they could have done the leg in sprite work, Bolo Guy. It's not like you needed a 3rd dimension for that to work.
I'm afraid I can do nothing of the sort.
I think we might have started this before that campaign started.
No, I definitely was just doing the count. But
Oh, I
also,
see.
at the same time, well, because Swissy wasn't here, so
Wasn't here.
I'm pretty sure I said out loud, well, if Swissy's not here to voice Van Zeek, so I will do a count impersonation. But also, let's not pretend you fucking broke the mold on Count Dracula voice. Nathan. Fucking, it's just vague Transylvanian bad accent, right? Like, let's fucking pretend. But yes, I did steal it though. The two things are true at the same time.
This is me. I was wondering why you weren't reading. It's because it's me. If you
I
look
was
with a
wondering why you weren't
magnifying glass, my
reading.
lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is.
So I had to do it too because he's not a vampire. The whole animation. I'm an innovator. Yeah, what was the innovation? What was it? What was it,
Innovate
Nathan?
these nuts.
Innovate.
Goodness, what is that?
Oh, right.
Undeniably some flash of light, yes?
Oh, golly. Do you think it might be lightning?
Hey, Molo guy, you've seen this juror, right? Juror 2? They like shaded her cleavage. Isn't that crazy, Molo guy?
Got
What are
tits
your
out
thoughts
the
on
here.
that? Her breasts are boobling. That's all I gotta say. But it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe we may be looking at fire.
About to fire, head straight for the balloon, like an arrow. I have terrible trigger discipline.
Yeah,
Did you see that? That was crazy. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Maybe.
That's absurd. The balloon could have been 60 feet above the ground at the time.
That's well within the range of a crossbow from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, those bitches are like 120 feet.
Yeah.
No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection. Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen. The words got jumbled.
Evidence I haven't revealed yet. At all.
Evidence
in
law
any
doesn't exist yet,
capacity.
it's fine. Oh, I don't think they talked about evidence law in 3. I think that doesn't happen till 4.
Couldn't quite hear what you said about Juror 2, but I'm happy for you. I'm sorry that happened. Thanks, Wallow guy. What do you mean you couldn't hear me? You fucking... What did you just tune out? You just fucking... You're just spacing? This fucking guy. This Molo guy. What evidence? I was just talking about her boobs.
Yeah.
Not your mom's boobs, or maybe I was. You know, you never know.
You'll never
but
know.
You'll never know. But no, they gave Juror 2 like defined cleavage shading, which is just it stands out to me because I don't think outside of like Mia Fey they've ever done that.
Oh, there was April May had big bazongas.
Oh right.
From
and there's the clown lady that we haven't gotten to yet.
From all of it.
Yeah.
You remember 2
That's
years ago when we played that?
No, I fucking remember nothing. The Clussy, yes.
Yeah.
There's a really good animation from Speedo Sausage or whatever that channel's called about that. I still think about that animation. Funny as hell. Awooga. Though those are balloons. Yeah, but I don't care. Through the power of my imagination, they can be whatever I want.
Anything is possible.
I think really hard.
If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sakes, present it, man! Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
This crossbow I found.
Don't worry, Molokai. Everyone knows that they're fucking...
Yeah.
That they're fucking balloons.
Truly game-ruining one.
Because she got really popular after that animation, and then everyone was like, you know, these are really balloons, right? Like immediately, because you're not allowed to like things on the internet.
Everybody hates fun. This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene. I'm not sure why that part.
Good lord! An ornamental tree, you say? Is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon.
Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately
blimey, you're right. That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it?
And then the explosion of the balloon, it was...
Very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow, igniting the hydrogen gas inside it.
Why or whatever.
That animation looks very dainty, where he looks like he's been shot. He's like, eh.
Oh. In gods.
Order, council. This is an extraordinary supposition.
What's the point of playing Dual Destinies if you know that the pussy has balloon breasts? Might as well just skip it and go straight to Spirit of Justice.
I think I liked Spirit of Justice better for what it's worth. I don't
Oh,
think...
because it doesn't have balloon breasts in it, huh?
Yeah. Dual Destinies is fine. I like a lot of the cases in it. They just ruin Apollo Justice in both of those games, so it's whatever. If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course.
You could have used a gun.
However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharge. What? You hate that animation? What are you, stupid? The animation rules. It's so funny. I love Speed Sausage or whatever that channel's called. It's great. I want Miss Tornado to put her butt and nothing but her butt on my face. Of course.
That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Oh yeah, if someone had shot a gun off in the exposition... Oh, the what? Hold on. The exhibition grounds, it will cause a real panic.
But there was a big explosion and it was a very big panic anyway, no?
I don't
Just
like
can't believe you
this.
have bad taste, I guess, small guy.
I should be pleased
Tragic.
to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Oh, ooga. Dude, wait, hold on. Boy. Today's behavior where it's like a random animation the animator said, but yeah. It's just for fun, Mulligan, I'll be honest. It was not accurate to anyone's character at all. That's kind of just how it works. I don't know what to tell you, man. Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nepalese friend?
If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute. What are you really saying here? I don't get it. What? Was the birdcage beamed up in the sky after all? Or what?
My goodness me!
Ah, now I understand. That's what the sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along.
What? Did I hear that correctly, Council?
There's no going back now. The horse has bolted. A common turn of phrase. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start.
I assume that's what you were actually getting at, Mulligan. I'm like, I bet Mulligan is just mad that Edgeworth awoogas at a female character in that animation. Also, the channel is Speederoo. I looked it up again and began watching the animation. Oh, it gets me every time. Listen, that's why it's funny to me, because Edgeworth saying awooga is stupid.
On stage,
It's genius.
when the experiment was started, the birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. Oh, wait. So, it sounds like this partner and Mr. Assman, like, basically set this up without him doing anything.
They faked it, yeah.
I'm wondering if he was accidentally killed by the arrow or just stabbed. Because, like, clearly the intent of this was he was supposed to appear up there and go like, aha, it worked.
Well, I don't think this was ever supposed to leave him alive. If he's the one in the exploding balloon.
You know what? That's fair.
Right? Because there was an explosion?
That's a fair point. Causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. Bang. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the crystal tower.
Also, Molokai, counterpoint. They have Edris say, it looks like Phoenix Wright was Phoenix stupid, which is funny every time I listen to it.
I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day.
This is good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play. A contemptible display of stage magic.
Of course,
we all
fancy
look at the
stage
juror.
magician. Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility, in which case this is the only way to explain what happened that day. Yeah, I like those ones.
I also prefer Dubus Goobus. Well, not prefer. I like Dubus Goobus a lot. Even though there was been like 2 Ace Attorney animations from Dubus ever, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I like those ones. Pretty good. I like that Maya is just constantly in guilty of things. It just happens.
In guilty of things?
It's very true.
And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the Crystal Tower. Every instantaneous kinesis didn't take place. How do you explain that?
If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3. All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Assman. And having this other man appear on stage to front the show as a body double. Ah, yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Assman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed in the balloon right from the start. Actually, yeah, in that case, I think he would have been dead on account of the hydrogen and no oxygen that was in the balloon.
Yeah, and then exploding.
Yeah. Yeah, what he said.
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the 4 winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio.
I'm glad there's a scientist and a magician in the jury just to explain shit.
Yeah, just because they wanted to use those 2 things.
Juror number 4.
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well.
On account of the explosiveness of it.
Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio.
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns. That would be unavoidable.
On account of the explosion, yes.
But not to such extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
Makes more sense than teleporting. So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Assman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. Nerg. In short,
Nerd.
he couldn't have been killed by the defendant who was on stage in full view the entire time. Well, I still killed him ahead of time. Yes, I love that. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zieks can't credibly maintain that Professor Hairbrain is a suspect now. I will bet you any money that's Hairbrain going, wait, my shit works though. Yeah.
Hi, I'm back. It's me.
Mr. Narhado, I appreciate your efforts, thank you. Wow, that was actually way better than it usually is. Professor? But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry? The Apollo Trilogy is on Steam. We haven't played it yet because we're doing
Here's the
this
thing,
one.
Molokai. I'll be honest. I don't really care if you like it or not. It's not important. We can just like different things.
Yeah.
We don't have to agree on stuff. What's all this about, Mr. Hairbrain?
I, Albert Hairbrain, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Odi Assman. Why? Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What? What are you doing?
Professor, explain the sudden confession.
Objection! Professor Hairbrain, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand
So I
there and
killed him.
claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would be all over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it. It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can prove— Balak!
Yes?
I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say, I swear it. So please, ensure the special dispensation for scientific act is adhered to and protect my creation.
This guy.
Fucking guy.
This fucking guy. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice at this critical juncture. It's okay, Morgan.
We're cool.
It's all good. Here's to my learned Lipanese friend.
What? Huh? Why me?
And his upcoming attempt to clarify
Well-
the defense's position in light of the accused's confession.
What?
Pretty funny. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved.
Hmm. I love how he's leaning forward more every time it cuts back to him. The next one, he's just fully in front of the podium.
Oh, he's teleporting.
Well, Council, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
What Professor Hairbrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nepalese mind?
Wow. Mr. Nahado! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something. But what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact... I mean, this feels like it'll get us the bad end, you know?
I mean, we've got to say it's a conjuring trick.
It's a
that's
trick.
True.
It's the truth. Because this is a, like... There was this in... I don't know if you remember the end of With Matt on Guard, where it gives you the choice if you can like, say he's guilty or innocent. But it leads to a bad end if you pick the wrong one. So I'm guessing we have to pick the truth, because that's what these games are about. Maybe something will stop it.
Yes, I do not think that they want us to lie.
Ah!
But maybe
Can't
this will
do
also
it.
be a choices don't matter, and it's just...
Well, I can't say it. My client placed his faith in me. I just can't let him down. I don't know who's saying this.
You know, Molokai, I'd assume that could do it.
Is this Cosima, maybe? Like the ghost of Cosima? I don't know who this is supposed to be.
I don't know either. I'll do the ghost of Cosima, because that
Sure.
makes me laugh. Morguy says there is no alternate ending.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's one of those, like, you can't say it.
Yeah, one of those, you get to make a choice. And then it's the cow in front of the two hallways. The illusion. The illusion of choice, exactly, Mark.
Yeah.
What must I give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect?
Oh, what?
Nope, it's Sasato.
What?
Hello again, Mr. Naruto. Did you like my Kazuma-sama impression? I've been working on it all the way from Japan. It's been far too long.
Susato-san?
How did we notice her walk past
what are
us
you?
to say-
Ah!
Yeah, flip him! Flip him! Get his,
Ah!
Get his ass! Get his ass!
My first Susato takedown in 6 months.
Excellent. Hooray!
She just walked
Now we
in
got
and
the whole
suplexed one of the
club laughing.
lawyers.
They should have had her text box upside down. It would have been funny. There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruto. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand.
Which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. I'm back up. Professor Hairbrain. Ah! Yes? Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Assman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. Wah!
Oh, you finally opened your eye.
What?
And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer.
Ah.
been heard my learned friend's assertion. Thought you have something to say.
Baroque! Lord Van Zeeks.
Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before.
In truth, there is one thing, something I've remembered that's of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
Have you seen that Sman clip where he has to pick? I haven't seen that one. I've seen a lot of Small Ant clips, but I have not seen Big Nugget v Master Ball.
I think,
I beg your pardon?
if I remember correctly, the point in the game where that is, because I think that's Emerald maybe, where the guy's like, do you want a Master Ball or a Big Nugget? And then he gives you both of them.
Ah, I see.
Professor? Did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Taller than me, and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter, and whiter than mine. Let me see. One less lens than me, too. A monocle. Rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention. Well, why didn't you start with that?
What?
He built the machine? That's right. Mr. Assman introduced me to him a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Dreber. Huh? Enoch?
Dreber? The famous magician scientist. Does this name mean something? Members of the JC cluster. Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination.
Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he?
I'm afraid this is the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery.
An abomination?
Yeah, I was gonna say I have to say abomination a lot in this series.
More than once, which is strange. Hold on, I have it on the soundboard.
It's an abomination, Council. Be a noise. It's an abomination, Council. Obviously, the rascal's after the current research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Dreber's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician.
Holy
Yes,
shit.
we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here.
Like I said, the prestige.
The prestige.
That's Enoch Dreber for you.
Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I love the only movement is him shuffling cards in the background. So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion. Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Dreber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
They would tear it open and see that there was nothing in there. It was just hollow. Chunks of metal built to look like a gun. I know that if this machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen. But at the same time, I know that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, that a work of deception, then everything I've worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. It's kind of turning French, but I think I'm just gonna stay where I am. I was terrified.
You've made him French and then back like 3 or 4 separate times. I don't think it matters anymore.
Yeah. So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber. I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it. It's entirely possible that Mr. Assman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money. When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. Enoch Drebber is the name of the first victim in the Sherlock Holmes stories. Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't find an obvious pun in that one, so it must be from the books.
Yeah. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Sucks.
Maybe you shouldn't have done it, dipshit.
You dumb bastard. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yeah, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
Thank God. Now we can see it's full of fucking marshmallows or whatever.
You open it up and it's just chocolate in there. Liquid chocolate.
And liquid. They didn't even use solid chocolate?
No.
They fucking melted it?
Full of nougat.
Not the first victim chronologically, but the one from the first story. Yeah, that's I see. Yeah, that's what I assumed you meant.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zeeks,
My lord.
the court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Drebber.
Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord? Good job. You get a cookie.
You want a cookie? When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
I don't want any fucking making shit up on the spot or monkey business. I want you to give me evidence. I promise nothing, my lord. I know what game I'm in, unfortunately. 23rd October, 1:36 p.m., the Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Mr. Nahador. Ah, yes. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry. Did you really have no idea, Professor, about what Mr. Drebber was really up to? I mean, about what he was really constructing?
I assume it was
Naturally.
more like a willful ignorance.
Yeah. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it. All right. In that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me. I will be taken away by the police now. Auf Wiedersehen.
I'm sorry for arriving so late this morning, Mr. Naruto.
Arriving late?
Didn't you receive my postcard? Wanted to let you know when I'd arrived.
Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from you, Runo, so it would be a surprise.
You fucking little...
You can't
I'm gonna
do
punt
that.
this child. I'm gonna throw her in the Thames, dude. No
Well,
one's gonna stop me.
Did it work? I was surprised, all right, especially when she threw me to the ground.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out.
Me judo throwing you. Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in the future.
Runo and Sasato sitting in a tree. Starting a lineage that would eventually... starting a lineage that will eventually result in Phoenix Wrights?
I think so. Susie's train was leading to London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial.
I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. So I hopped down there and flipped the shit out of you.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Oh.
Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you back in London.
Smooth. Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruto. I'm delighted to be here. I'm glad they didn't keep her in Japan the whole game. I was like, this sucks. It's just... Sasato's like half the reason I'm even bothering with this stream. If not for Sasato, I'd be gone. You fuckers would never see me. I hope I can continue to be of service to you.
Of course. So, what's brought you back? Professor Mikotoba not protest?
Your ass.
Let's save all that conversation. Wrong voice. So when we're back at home, shall we?
Yeah, he turned into Ginny for a second.
I know. I was like, well, that's not right. You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion.
Oh, Iris, how wonderful. I can't wait.
Zato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn.
You get back. Sherlock, dead. I mean, Herlock, dead.
Dead. He's dead now.
He's dead in the gutter.
Someone just beat him over the head with a hammer.
He's dead, and the door is locked. How did... It was an orangutan.
It had to be. There's no other explanation.
My God, no human could have done this crime.
23rd October, 2:41 p.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy.
Oh, this room. It's been too long. It hasn't changed in the slightest, though. It's only been 6 months. I mean, that's not that crazy, given how long it takes to do things in 1800s. You know?
I think what she's implying is that he hasn't cleaned in 6 months.
He hasn't cleaned, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, of course. But I'm just saying in general, I was like, that's pretty quick for traveling all the way to and from Japan.
Yeah.
In this time period. Like, this is the sort of time period where you'd be like, I must go. My wife Eliza, I'll see you in 5 years if we're lucky.
I'm going to see. I will not be back.
I might die there. But if I do, you will get $500. Enough to buy a cow. I think it's implied Zeke's knew about the teleportation was bullshit, but wanted to force Hairbrain to accept it. Yeah, that was my read on it.
Yeah.
Was that Zeke's was just trying to get Hairbrain to, like, admit that he
engage with reality.
Yeah. And it's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar.
I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you'd left it.
I'm also lazy.
But it has been some 6 months, it's true.
So is your father all right, Susie? What happened?
He wasn't sick at all. They tricked me. My father.
He lied to me. Yes, Professor Mikatoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because of the telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason. That's right. So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised, but happy.
I think I wrote about it in my letter to you. That it was all a trick. My father's in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that.
Well, we're all delighted to have you back.
It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium.
The International Forensic... That's the same symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned.
Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris.
Oh! You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan.
Yes, of course, I shall.
You don't have to do it through dialogue, though. I was there. I mean, me. The human.
What?
And there's one other thing. Something you
one
wrote in your
more
letter
thing.
that particularly grabbed my attention. About you-know-who. About Kazuma.
No. I'll tell you all that I can.
Let's well, hold on, real quick. We have to have another argument about a shovel, real quick. Thinking back, that spade's been in here since we first moved in, hasn't it?
That's a shovel. I'm sure I've told you before, Mr. Naruto. It's not a spade, it's a shovel.
No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel.
The great spade shovel war rages on. I love how he makes that comment as if he's not a part of it.
Before we talk to her,
Yep.
we should show her our armband.
Oh, you're right. Hey, look, I kept it.
You're still taking good care of that armband, I see. I'm so pleased.
Well, yes, it feels like I wouldn't be me without it now, to be honest.
Oh dear. There seems to be a thread coming loose just there, look. I'd be only too happy to mend it for you, Mr. Naruto.
Oh, thank you. Aw, I must have scraped it against something again. I'm always doing that. I feel that, Naruto.
Yeah, I always knew she was gonna hit him with this. Then take better care of it, please.
It was all going so well until I ruined it. Yeah, I feel that, Mr. Naruto. Back in Britain.
When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely.
The awful trial? Oh, yes. For the murder of Giselle Brett. Ooh,
We
you
did,
dressed as a
Mulligar.
man then, didn't you, Susie?
Yes, I was hot. Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice.
Wow,
Yeah,
amazing!
well, I'm pretty sure we've gotten all the shovel spade dialogue. Steven always clicked it.
I might have missed one in the first game, because I didn't know about it yet. But
No!
I've been doing it since then, for sure.
I can't believe this.
I wish I'd seen it, don't you, Runo? Yes, I suppose so. I want to play at being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe. I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Miss Susato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikatoba summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter it was something to do with that convict's loot we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
That's right. The very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain.
He was definitely not supposed to do that.
I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet.
Why would that be then?
But- well, I sent a clip on the Discord.
There's a
and you missed
ladder in
it.
the waxing museum? Ooh, alright. We gotta find... I'm sure we'll be back there at some point.
father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answers for myself. I have decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets.
Oh, Susie.
From anyone.
From anyone. Not
Iris, your
even
father.
you. That's a very meaningful look Susato-san's giving Iris there. Forensic Science Symposium. Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium, too. I think he said that investigating authorities from 40 different countries would attend.
I even recorded it myself and uploaded it to YouTube. Thank you for your digital archivist work, Mologai. Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku, and Judge Jukoku. Damn it.
You tried so hard.
Jigoku. My brain just keeps reading Goku and going, oh, Goku. Judge Jigoku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe.
Well, Professor Mikatoba is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all. But
I
who's
keep
the other
forgetting
person
that's what
you
he does.
mentioned? A judge, did you say?
The
Jukoku
only
means
judge
hell.
we've ever seen. Awesome. Yes, His Excellency. Yes, His Excellency Judge Seishiro Jigoku. You've met him, Mr. Naruto. He looks suspiciously like the judge here, but with a different beard.
It's very strange.
Last year, in the Supreme Court, you can't possibly have forgotten. That terrible trial of yours when you were accused of murder.
Ah, yes, I try to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days. And who was the victim in that case again?
I don't remember.
It was Iris's dad.
Oh, right! I forgot that was the one we got accused of, because we just happened to be in the same restaurant.
Basically.
That's right. Why haven't we told Iris yet?
I
It's
don't
still
know.
weirded me out.
It's been a
so
year.
strange. I get she's 10, but like she's still deserves to know her dad is dead.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
I wasn't raised with my dad being like, "Oh no, your mom's just out and about somewhere,
out getting smokes and milk."
He was like I've known since I was literally like a child. Well, it was Judge Jigoku who presided over that trial.
If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy never to see that man's face again in my life.
Oh, well, anyway, as father was invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end he agreed to me going on ahead.
Yes, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important.
I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General.
The most senior position in the British justice system.
He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said, anyway. Apparently, it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition.
Does Professor Mikatoba know Lord Strongheart personally, then, I wonder?
Definitely.
Yeah. Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech all about that very subject only yesterday.
Let me tell it all to you.
But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to much of it.
It was like 4 hours or whatever.
Yeah. It was like 700 different talking points, if I remember right.
How trying for you.
Giselle Brett.
I would have listened to it.
Giselle Brett. The woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson.
The murder of who, Bruno?
I almost wish he'd said that part out loud apropos of nothing. Yes, Giselle Brett. That's a name I won't forget for as long as I live.
The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget.
Sorry?
Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out that an Englishwoman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. Yeah, she was like a spy.
Didn't exist, but how can that be?
It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin. Okay. And she wasn't a visiting student either.
Shin
That
Igami.
was a front. Shin Igami.
A front? Who on earth was she then?
Miss Shin. A Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. I hope her first name is Assas, so her name is Assas Shin.
My name is Aces Shin.
Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's complete mystery.
But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could the woman have been up to?
I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand.
And now she's been killed. While all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered.
I'm afraid so.
A Shin. Who on earth was she? And why do I feel as though I've heard that name before somewhere? It was on that list of names from the end of the last game, Ryunosuke, I'm pretty sure. One of the names was Kazuma, too. I don't remember who the other two were.
Wasn't one of them Mikitoba?
Might have been.
Or am I making that up?
I think one of them was Gregson also. I don't remember. It's been a long time. What about Kazuma?
After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange.
I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. It was that visiting student's fate. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... And then he got flipped. And then we attacked him. Oh no, that's when the judge attacked him, actually.
Yeah, he like rolled in and went, fucking hit him with the hell gates or whatever. Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later, I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama.
And what did you learn?
He was dead. After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consulate staff there.
That makes sense. Should have been?
There's no body. Because he's that weird, creepy guy hanging out with...
He's that creep in Van Zeeks' office.
He's that creep hanging with Van Zeeks. I believe it 100%.
Has to be.
But well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It just disappeared.
What? Kazuma's body vanished?
Our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except Kazuma-sama isn't there.
Did Professor Mikitoba know about this?
Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak.
I just don't believe it. What is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? The Kazuma mystery. Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Borea were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Could it be? Could it be that he's actually still alive?
Stop it, Mr. Naruto. It's too much to bear.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to...
Just thinking about that possibility pains me so very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruto.
Into the annals of history.
When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he?
Gasp.
And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly.
Ah, you're right. So if Kazuma hadn't actually been dead at all, it would mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us.
Which he would definitely not do.
Definitely not.
Which he would never do to us. Mr. Sholmes, that guy who's strung out on 3 different drugs and is not helpful, he would never lie to us, his bosom buddies.
His attic friends.
But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing. There's no reason at all.
I suppose that's true, yes.
The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it. Because if it turned out not to be true. Not the sad emote.
Oh,
no. God kills me. Then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what that might do to me.
Oh, Miss Susato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's Susato-san we're talking about, after all. So I probably shouldn't push it now.
Show her the armband again. No, I don't. Don't actually. Don't. No, don't. She was just weeping. No.
So this armband. Well, we can't leave, so what am I not examining? Oh. You know what? It's probably Iris related. Must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Baskerville.
But then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it. And put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it. But nobody knows anything about it apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, that was the one that was in the...
Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it.
And you wouldn't tell me how you'd come to know it.
Yes, but I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I?
That day is not yet.
I think it's time.
Oh.
I'm sick of lying and stuff. I'm only sorry I've had to keep it from you for so long, Iris.
The Hound of the Baskervilles.
It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before I left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It said, The Hound of the Baskervilles.
What? My Baskerville story?
Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time. The father came in and...
Susato, what are you doing? It's me, J.
Let
Jonah
me break it
Jameson.
down. Let me break it down for you, Mark. I think about that fucking edit all the time. I don't know why. It's like the one thing from Invincible that sticks in my brain is let me break it down for you, Mark. Back from Melee. Nice.
Nice.
Was it a tournament again, or were you just dick it, or just a something else? Another
something
option.
that isn't a tournament.
Something that isn't a tournament. Oh, Father.
Did you look at those papers?
Did you look at those papers? Yeah, when fucking Omni-Man's like, she's more like a pet. The best part is he's lying. No, I simply read the label, that's all.
Hmm. Well, put it out of your mind.
Sorry?
Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand? Think, Susato, think!
What will you have then?
But what was my...
I'm gonna get the boys in the lab to make a lemon that burns down your house.
But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan?
Do they not know that it's her father or something like that?
They must have... I feel like they've mentioned it by now. I miss my wife, Tails. I mean, Susato.
I have no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Sholm's exploits. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions. And there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you.
Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie.
So, Mr. Naruto, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well.
So, you're fully abreast of the situation already, Miss Sato. I'd expect nothing less, to be honest. How did Iris know? Oh, yeah, I guess she did go along.
She was there with us
She was
when it
there
happened.
with us, yeah.
I should think our first port of call would be to investigate this Mr. Drebber. The engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick.
Yes, a conjurer of sorts by the sound of it, well known in the fields of
A
science and
conjurer of
magic.
cheap tricks.
Then we'll need to go arrest him.
Well, yes. He must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we really do need to find the man. Sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down. Which is a job for the police, or a great detective. Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think. Good idea. Well, best of luck then. Oh, you're not coming today? I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later how you got on, won't you? You're only allowed to have one quirky female assistant with you at a time, Naruto. You should know how this works. That was a little abrupt. The pull of the herb market must be strong. She's thinking of Luke at me, of course. It's gotta be. Who else? Who else could it be? Alright, I'm gonna say this is probably a good place to stop for now. Because I have to get some stuff done before work. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night. And Swissy said he's around tomorrow, so we might do Rain Code. I'll ask him. Otherwise, it's gonna be Catherine. Have a good night. Bye.
Goodbye.